Heyo, it's Vitamay at Fang Pig Squeak Greets, and I'm here with a short little review. I finished reading Gone to See the Riverman by Kristopher Triana this week. I decided to listen to the audiobook version of it when it was available on Audible, and I decided to jump at the chance because I've seen so many raving reviews about this particular story. And boy, was that a ride! Okay, Chris, you're a twisted guy. I love it. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. So, if you don't know what Gone to See the Riverman is about, it's about this woman. I think she's in her 40s. Her name is Lori, and she is kind of a serial killer groupie. That's kind of how I would define her, even though in the books she doesn't define herself as that. She's been in correspondence with a couple of serial killers throughout the years, and then she stumbles upon Edmund Cox, who is this really brutal serial killer who, I think he really I hate to say the word specialized in killing Asian women, and just doing awful stuff to them, and just the descriptions were not flattering at all, if I could rephrase it like that. But yeah, she has this really weird fascination with him. She feels connected to him, and she feels like she apart from all the other groupies, that she has the best connection to Edmund. And yeah, it kind of shows in her letters that they put on in between. So in one of the visitations, she actually goes to visit him as well. Edmund kind of gives her a task or a quest of sorts. She has to deliver a key to a person called the Riverman, and she's not really given anything else to go with. Like you have to go to Killen, where my house is, where my house used to be, and you just have to go through, walk along the river, and the Riverman will find you, and you just have to deliver that key, and that'll be it. It seems like an easy task, weird one, definitely. But, Lori being so fascinated and just so entranced with him, she immediately jumps at it. But there's a catch. There's a kind of a snag to her little quest. Because Lori has been she's been taking care of her older sister, Abby, since they were teenagers, I think. Abby is crippled. She's mentally challenged after a horrible accident that happened to her when she was a teenager, and so has kind of fallen upon Lori to take care of her every needs. And Lori at first wanted to, just leave her with a babysitter while she went on this quest, but Abby wouldn't have any of that. She wanted to come with her, and so Lori is forced to take Abby along with this ride. And throughout the story, you get like glimpses of both of the interaction between Edmund and Lori, like through exchange of letters, which I found really fascinating. And then also you get like flashbacks to Lori's and Abby's past, and it's interesting because when you start reading the story, you kind of feel you feel pity for Lori. You feel bad for her. I mean, this is a tough situation, especially having to give up all of your life in order to take care of your mentally challenged sister. It's hard work, definitely hard work, but you can definitely see as the story progresses that she hates it. It's really hard. Well, for me, it was really hard to listen because I can understand her frustrations. It like I said, it is difficult work, and you have to put a lot of patience in it, and you have to put a lot of love in it. But you definitely, if you read between the lines, you can see that there is no love there at all. So it kind of like diverts from you feeling sorry for Lori to eventually you hate her. She is an awful, awful person. I'm not gonna go into spoilers into what makes her truly evil. I just encourage you to read the story, and yeah, it's there were some chapters that were hard to stomach when I had done listening. I actually had to put like on Spotify and just listen to my favorite podcast, which is actually a true crime podcast. But the presenters, they're so funny because they're telling the story, and they're sisters, and they're telling each other these kind of hard true crime cases, and sometimes they're just silly, and I kind of needed that to cleanse my soul because there were like really, really tough scenes that you had to go through when you were reading that. This is why I say that Kristopher is a sick, twisted guy. It was just, it was awful. But yeah, like as the story progresses, you start to learn more about the situation with Lori and Abby, and you also it also progresses the more they go into this place, like this river, and they're going on a boat from there. And I just really, really, really loved how Kristopher described the trip up the river. Kind of just basically went to this really macabre area where the river basically was just like a river of flesh. There were like bits of flesh, and the river was blood, and it kind of reminded me like of the river Styx, which was really good if that was his intention, because you could really get that into your mind. And the way he described the riverman and his quarters, that was some haunting shit. Like I got like shudders when Lori and Abby finally entered his abode, and it was just it was really good. I loved the description style. It's simple, but Kristopher Triana just really gets to the point. It doesn't really flower anything, only when it's like necessary. Like I said, with when to get the kind of picture into your head, like with the river. Other than that, it was just really, really, direct. It was simple, and really enjoyable, despite the fact that there were some really hard scenes to go through in order to go towards the ending. And the ending, it was so good. I was almost screaming, which probably would make a lot of people just turn their heads because this girl standing in this bus stop screaming while listening to the story, because I really, really wanted a good ending. And it kind of is like it's a bittersweet ending on one part, but then such a satisfying ending on the other hand. And I just loved the last line. The last line, I'm not going to say who said it, but the last line is, "Love always hurts." It was a great ending line. It was so good. So I gave Gone to See the Riverman on Audible. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good. It was my first time going into a Kristopher Triana book, and I'm definitely gonna read more after him. He really has showcased that he can do creepy, eerie, like difficult subjects kind of horror, and I really, really like that. So I would definitely recommend you guys to check out Gone to See the Riverman. I will put a link on his on the Amazon page where you can buy a copy. I also recommend listening to the audiobook. Danny George is the one who is narrating the story. She really does a really good job. I loved how she managed to change a little bit of her voice when she went into the male characters. And she managed to capture this kind of naivety in Laurie, which I really like. So I also recommend checking the audiobook because the audiobook is what I listened to. So definitely check that out. This has been a little bit of a short review, but I hope you enjoyed. If you like my reviews, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on my next review. See ya!